Good morning and welcome to the special meeting of Calaveras County Board of Supervisors for December 21st, 2018. Shall we all rise and pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, you didn't give us much answer.
All right, we have no public comment in special meeting, so let's move on to the consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to do the report out from Tuesday's meeting.
Okay, you can do that.
Okay, the report of closed session held on December 18th, 2018. Item 31, conference with real property negotiator pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8, instruction to negotiator regarding potential purchase, price, and terms of payment for the following property affected by the Hogan Dam Road over Bear Creek Low Water Crossing Conversion, New Bridge. Project Agency Negotiator Stephen Harris of Overland Pacific and Cutler LLC, negotiating party and respective property APN, Charles Jr. and Rosario Pineda, as to APN 050-008-042. There was no reportable action taken. Item 32, conference with real property negotiator pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8, instruction to negotiator regarding potential purchase price and terms of payment for the following property affected by the Shad Road over Forest Creek Bridge project. Agency negotiator Stephen Harris of Overland Pacific and Cutler LLC, negotiating party and respective property APN, Sierra Pacific Industries, a California corporation, as to 04-007-007. There was no reportable action taken. Item 33, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, initiation of litigation, 2 cases, pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D4. 1 case was pulled from the agenda and will be re-agendized for a meeting in January. There was no reportable action taken on the other case. Item 34, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation, 2 cases, pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D2. Case 1, on a motion by Supervisor Mills and a second by Supervisor Garamendi, the board voted unanimously to approve a settlement agreement with Flintco Pacific Incorporated for $75,000, a release of claims, and a 3-year warranty relating to invoices for the construction of the jail. Case 2. This case was heard after item 35. Supervisor Clapp left the meeting at 5:32 p.m. and did not participate in the discussion, any direction, or decision. There was no reportable action taken. Item 35, public employee appointment pursuant to Government Code Section 54957B1, title County Council. On a motion by Supervisor Oliveira and a second by Supervisor Garamendi, the board voted unanimously to appoint Megan K. Stedfield for another 4-year term as County Council and directed staff to bring a resolution memorializing the decision. Item 36, public employee appointment pursuant to Government Code Section 54957B1, title Interim County Administrative Officer. This closed session was held after the lunch break on Tuesday. There was no reportable action. However, circumstances allowed for a special meeting to be held on December 21st, 2018 at 9 a.m. to discuss this item in open session. The board reconvened to open session at 6:10 p.m., reported out, and adjourned at 6:15.
Thank you. Now, on to consent.
Consent agenda items are expected to be routine and non-controversial. They will be acted upon by the board at one time without discussion. Any board member, staff member, or interested party may request removal of an item from the consent agenda for later discussion.
Is there any board member wish to pull a consent agenda item?
Item number 2, Chair.
Number 2. Any other board member? Any staff member?
I also do.
Number 2. Okay. Number 2 has been pulled by Supervisor Mills and HR Director. I'm looking for a motion for number 1.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
I have a motion by Supervisor Oliveira,
Second.
second by Supervisor Garamendi. Any further discussion? If not, call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. You've been memorialized. All right, item number 2. Supervisor Mills, do you have comments on this item?
Yes,
Could I read the,
Please.
Oh,
thank
yes,
you.
I'm sorry.
This item is from Human Resources to adopt a resolution appointing Manuel Lopez as interim county administrative officer effective December 26, 2018, and authorize the board chair to sign the employment agreement.
And before Supervisor Mills, before you make some comments, can we please have Judy Hawkins, our HR director? I think she has some updating on what's before us.
Yes, after a meeting between Manuel Lopez and our chair, Gary Tofinelli, and vice chair, Jack Garamendi, it was discussed to bring back a contract setting a hourly rate for the services of Mr. Lopez for the position of interim CAO. And so all of that information was drafted, but then due to some concerns that were brought up, the original contract was attached to the agenda item. During this time, we, County Council and myself, have reviewed the information and concerns that was brought up, and we feel that going forward with an hourly rate would be the best route to go.
So it would be a strict hourly rate. He would get paid only for the time he is working clocked in and clocked out. He will not be given any holiday pay. If we close the offices, he doesn't report to work, he doesn't get paid for those holidays. Just strictly for the time that he's here working, he would be given that wage. Is that correct?
That is correct, and it has been structured in the new agreement in that manner, and the agreement's being passed out to you now. But it states strictly that he will work 40 hours in a week, that he will turn in his hours that he works. If he's to take time off, he will inform the chair of the time that he's taking off, and that in the term of the contract, he's not to exceed the 999 hours as provided in our ordinance, and also what's allowed by CalPERS.
And the conversation that you, Megan, and I had yesterday, his time cards will be routed through your office so you can keep complete track of all the hours worked and inform us when we start getting close.
Yes, and I will also keep track of, because we were trying to keep him within that 544 hours that we have based his rate on. And I will keep a strict spreadsheet, and then also coordinate that spreadsheet with the reports that come out of the auditor's office.
And also, in the narrative that's here, nothing changes as far as what our savings are going forward due to this change in the contract.
Right, it's still because everything that we were considering in the contract was rolled into an hourly rate.
Okay, so we'll still be saving over the course of the 544 hours, $12,529 compared to what our current CAO makes.
Correct. And then, hopefully we'll find a CAO even faster than the 4 months estimated.
Board Chair, I just wanted to clarify, you had indicated that he would only be paid for the time that he was here. I just wanted to clarify that that his hours would include any time that he was working on the county's behalf, whether that be physically here or if he was
Well,
working
yes.
from
Meetings,
home,
right.
phone,
Well,
email,
yes.
things like that. I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah,
Physically working on behalf of the
on
county.
behalf of the county. If he's at some off-campus doing some work somewhere at a meeting or whatever, yes, but, yeah.
Correct.
So Supervisor Mills, that being said, do you have other questions, comments?
I certainly do.
Okay.
Judy, I had asked you for the position control list in an email this morning
And so our,
for this position, which should delineate its salary and benefits.
so the position control, so our position control list for,
For a CAO.
so the PCN, which gives the, I apologize, for some reason I was thinking the salary range when you sent it very last minute while I was pulling the, printing out the contracts. And so the PCN, which sets out the salary range, which is this salary range, the benefits that the CAO currently has was negotiated in his employment contract.
And if I could add a little further to that, this hourly rate contract, this has no benefits attached to it. This is strictly an hourly rate. Any benefits or the value of those benefits has been monetized into this rate. So essentially, it would be approving a fixed rate, no benefits such as health or vacation or anything else. So it's been monetized into this rate as a single rate that is to the board in this contract.
I feel that we're modifying a classification here.
So we are not modifying a permanent classification. The CAO, this is not a permanent position. This is not considered, this is a interim position by contract. This is not a permanent position. We are not modifying the position of CAO. There is not a PCN for this position.
Okay, that being said, we use the word interim, but we don't have that as a definition within our guidelines in section 2.64. So-
Supervisor Mills, I would just want to clarify, under the definitions of section 2.64, there is a definition for classified employee, and that is an employee appointed other than by the Board of Supervisors. So clearly, this is a situation where this position and this employment agreement is being approved by and appointed by the Board of Supervisors, so this position would not be considered a classified employee under the definition of our county code.
At some point, do we want to go back and review that piece as a policy discussion in the future to?
Oh, yes,
clean
we
this
are
up.
reviewing our entire personnel ordinance.
I do see this as a gray area, and that's the reason for the discussion. Manny's all-in costs, they don't exceed the costs of the CO position as shown right now. We're staying in that same range?
And so we have so when you break out the cost for the CAO's hourly rate, and then we add in what he would be paid for holidays and to take a vacation, those are calculated into the hourly rate. And so when you break everything out on a spreadsheet, he will not be paid more than what the CAO would be making in that time frame.
He's actually making less,
He's making
like
less.
$12,519 less,
I guess,
$529.
thank you. I guess my point is that I would have preferred this to have been a resolution going forward. It would have been much cleaner to have it in that format.
Right. And this was something that was negotiated with Manuel Lopez, and so it was not something that was HR, brought forward. It was, or pushed it, or it was a negotiation process.
I understand, but I'm looking at it from a position, from any position that we might have, an employment position, and how things lay out. It would be much cleaner to have, since we call all other positions and any benefit changes or salary changes, those positions are done by resolution. I see something like this as needing to be in that same venue.
Correct. And we are, and that's what, we will have a resolution that's establishing this as a interim position being paid at this rate.
And that would come before the board in January?
Well, that's what we're doing right now, is establishing him being paid at this rate in this employment contract.
Okay.
And then the resolution, much like Megan's, will come.
Okay.
Supervisor Mills, I also just wanted to clarify, there is a resolution before the
there is a
board today.
resolution.
Yes.
And in that resolution, it is also tying the employment agreement to it, which then also ties the
Rate.
salary and of the agreement into that resolution. It is attached as part of the resolution. So I just wanted to make sure that.
And we didn't see this until it was just handed to us.
No, it's in the resolution. It's referenced in the resolution that is part of the agenda packet.
And Supervisor Mills, just to add on to that, when something is added in the meeting like this, it's added as part of the minutes, so it will be added to the resolution as well when it's adopted.
And that was what I was,
Yeah, what you were handed will be added today.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying the 999 hours. That was something that I had a concern on earlier.
Yes.
So I appreciate that being very clearly stated in the contract. Could I take just a minute to read this?
Yes.
Since we
sure.
the rest of the
Take a
board.
5-minute break.
Thank you.
All right, we're back from break. Did you have a chance to read the agreement, Supervisor Mills?
Yes, I did, Chair.
are
My
you good
questions
with it?
have been answered,
Okay.
and we're ready to move forward.
So is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, we'll close public comment, bring it back. I'm looking for a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve. Actually, Supervisor Clapp, if it's all right, I think we need to make a motion that we approve this resolution and authorize the chair to sign the contract after Mr. Lopez signs. Would that be the appropriate order?
I actually do have he scanned it to me this morning. If the,
Clyde?
We were worried about that last night, so
Good point.
we were going to make a motion that he signed it first and then I signed it. So, but if he signed it, then Supervisor Clapp.
I'll keep my motion.
Okay.
And I'll second it.
So I have a motion by Supervisor Clapp, a second by Supervisor Garamendi. Any-
Chair, I just wanted to clarify, the motion is for the modified agreement that
Yes.
was passed out today, not
Thank
that
you.
the agreement that was attached together.
Thank you.
All right, that being said, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. And before we close this meeting, I think the CAO has an announcement to make.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I wanted to do a report out. We didn't have an announcement on this today, but I felt this was a pressing enough matter that it needed a report out today with the board since we had this meeting. On December 19th, I received, as did HR, a letter of resignation from Ed Short, the chief building official for the county. He's indicated his last day would be January 2nd, 2018, or 2019, I guess, with calendar years. So with that, then, we would, council, HR would be working to bring on January 8th to the Board of Supervisors an item that would be considering an interim appointment. And then Human Resources is going to be working on a recruitment to begin recruiting for a permanent chief building official.
Thank you for making that announcement. That being said,
Do we have to make a motion to accept the resignation, or?
it's not on the
It's
agenda.
not on the agenda today, so that would be something that we can certainly do next time.
With that being said, and no further business, we are adjourned.